It's the Last Stand Podcast.
Are you feeling run down? Do you need a natural way to boost your immune system? The all-natural B1 patch from USA Natural may be just what you're looking for. Professional athletes use it, and you can too. Just peel and stick, and within 30 minutes feel the natural boost of energy, stamina, and endurance. Visit buyb1.com and enter the code BC3 for a discount on every order. Wear what the pros wear, the all-natural B1 patch.
And here's your host, Brian Custer.
That's right. It is the Last Stand Podcast. I'm Brian Custer, where we're bringing you some of the biggest names in sports, entertainment, and I tell you what, our guest for this show doesn't get any bigger. He is an owner of one of the big professional sports leagues. He's an actor. In fact, one of his movies is celebrating their 25th anniversary. He's one of the dopest MCs ever to grace the mic, also a Hall of Famer because his former rap group in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He is the one and only O'Shea Jackson. That's his government name. Y'all know him as Ice Cube. What's up, Cube?
What's happening, man? You know, when I heard you say O'Shea, you know, I was looking, you know, for my son. He's carrying that name. I used to be able to slide by with Ice Cube, but now everybody know O'Shea Jackson Jr. So, you know, I got to, you know, either I'm looking for a check or I'm looking for my son, one or the other.
Absolutely, man. It's really good, and I'm happy that you can join us. Hey, first for foremost, how's the lovely Kimberly? How's the family, especially during this pandemic? How are you guys doing?
Everybody cool. You know, everybody kick back. You know, we kick back people out here anyway, so, you know, it's just, we taking it all in stride, hanging, you know, getting a chance to really, you know, do a few things that we need to do around the house, you know, of course, but also getting a chance to just enjoy each other, you know, watching a lot of, you know, old sports and movies and, you know, just hanging.
What you binge watching these days?
I'm not really, you know, I'm kind of off the binge watching, you know, I'm like poking, I'm looking at a lot of old fights, and I watched the old Ali fight, you know, old Tyson fights, some old basketball games. You know, I looked at the Jordan 63-point game versus Boston. So, you know, I've been, you know, just checking out a lot of old history, and it's been cool.
And I asked a number of guests that we've had, what's your favorite quarantine snack? If you like me, man, I just can't stay out of the pantry. What's your favorite quarantine snack you got to stay away from?
Oh, man, I guess it would be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I mean? I've been on them tough, like I'm an 8-year-old right now. So I got to kick back a little bit because I'm starting to double up and need, you know, one need two a day and three. And you know, that just can't be good. So, you know, I just been on the PB&J a little too heavy.
Now, listen, I see the shirt that you got on, and one of the things you're doing are you're selling those shirts, and especially for a really good cause. So talk to me about it. You know, let the people see that shirt and tell us why you're selling them.
Well, you know, we all want to do our part to help the front line, you know, healthcare workers, everybody that's just putting their life on the line for us and for the community. And so, you know, I wanted to do something where you give a little something, but you get something back, you know. So we start making these, you know, check yourself t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you check yourself. I got the mask on, you know, before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool, you know, and it's all going to a good cause. All the proceeds going to the healthcare workers. You know, we're not keeping it down. We just want to make sure that people participate in the cause, but also, you know, get a little something. You know what I mean? Why not? So it's like you give a little something, you get a little something, and everybody happy. The healthcare workers win.
That's fantastic, man. I love that you're doing that. You know, just recently the president had this conference call with all of the leaders of professional sports organizations. The Big Three was one of them, and in the relation of trying to bring sports back. What came of that call, and especially in light of the Big Three that was scheduled to come back June 20th? So where are we with that in the start of the season?
Well, my partner, Jeff Quantnitz, was on the call, and, he basically said that they were doing everything they could to bring sports back. They was pushing, they was helping. But, with the federal government doing what they can, it's still in the hands of the governors, really, on when states come back, what do they consider essential. Starting June 20th is really not realistic for us. We had to, cancel our tryouts and combine to try to keep that schedule. So we've pushed it back and postponed it now to July 11th. We also were supposed to play Memphis on June 20th. We were supposed to play New York, the tennis arena out there. We were supposed to play that and ended up, those got shut down. So, we wasn't playing July 4th, so our first game back would have been July 11th. So hopefully we can start the season on July 11th. But we still don't believe we can have a tryout and a combine this year. So we're going to probably have guys, hopefully submit workouts, submit, their last games, their best, their best moves, cut it up, get it to us, get it to our player captains and co-captains and coaches. So, we're making adjustments just like every other league. And, every other league, really have these, major, contracts to fall back on. We're still in our fourth year, so we're still trying to really, make sure this league has a great foundation. So, we want to be smart, make sure we can put on the best product. What's cool is we're talking to a network, and hopefully we can make an announcement soon that we're trying to do a show, like a show sort of like Big Brother, but, instead of game to advance, you would play basketball games to advance. So we're doing a combination. It's to me, it's a great show that will work, if this was going on or not. It's something we may do in the off season every year, but it's something that we're, working to put together, just some, to get sports up and running as fast as we can, but we still can't move faster than California wants to move. We still can't move faster than, there's the equipment available to make sure everybody's safe, tested. So, we still can't move faster than, the government, so to speak. So, we don't want to trip over ourselves and do anything that doesn't make sense for the league and doesn't help us grow. So right now we're postponed till July 11th.
One of the great things about the Big Three is that it's affordable, and that's why you always pack arenas every week for the Big Three, and you go from city to city. Because with this pandemic, now maybe there's some states that are maybe open, some that may not, some may have more restrictions. Then some leagues talking about playing without fans. Could you play the Big Three without fans? Is that, or would you have to look into, maybe we have to postpone or further push our league back until the fall or next season?
We want to play it by ear. We want to do what's smart. Things are changing every day when it comes to how society is dealing with this pandemic. It's something we have to consider. We have to look at all our options just to be responsible to all our shareholders and everybody who, is looking to us to, sorry, I keep hitting the table, just keep shaking, but looking to us to advance, this league and make sure that it continues to grow. So we're looking at all options. we don't want to be, irresponsible. We can play without fans. That's not a problem. I think most of the time people have seen 3-on-3 games in their life. It's been without fans. It's been in backyards and playgrounds. And so people are used to seeing that kind of game played in an intimate setting. So, we are considering doing all the games in one location. But, like I said, we still can't move faster than the government. But we also have to make decisions in advance. So we're playing and we're just keeping our ear to the street. Like I said, Jeff was on the call with what's happening in Washington. We're checking what's happening in California or any other state that we may have to play. So we're looking at all our options, man, and making sure that we can do it in a safe manner and making sure that it's still, high level competition.
And, a last question on that before we move on is, I know we had talked with, let's say, Dusty Baker, and he gave us, hey, if we're not playing baseball by this drop dead date, I don't think that we could have even a shortened season because guys need to get back into like a spring training before they just, come back. Do you have a drop dead date where you say, look, if we don't have any resolution by mid-July, then, I think we have to look towards Big 3 next season or Big 3 in the winter or fall?
We have, it's really a lot of, plates spinning here. It's a lot of moving parts. So, we have to, consult with our, sponsors, consult with our partners. Our league, we consult with our players, make sure they're ready to play and they want to play and they are in shape and they feel comfortable with it, that their body is going to respond. So, we got to play it by ear. We do have drop dead dates where, we're going to look and say, hey, this thing is maybe better in the fall, maybe better in the winter. We also want to gauge what the NBA doing, the NFL, college football. We want to get in where we fit in. We want to be an enhancement to the sports experience, not a disruption or interruption. So, we just playing it by ear like every other league. And, hey, the major sports leagues don't really have a handle on this. And, we feel like, we're in better position to maneuver than they are. So, we feel like we can play it by ear and still make a decision that'll move the league forward.
How long was Big 3 in the making? And what I mean by that was when you first had the idea, how long ago was that? And who was the first person you talked to and you said, yo, I know this may sound crazy, but I want to do this 3-on-3 professional basketball league?
We had the idea, it had to be at the end of, 2015. We started to really think about, like, how could this work? First person I told was my wife. She's my muse, She gonna give it to me straight. She gonna keep it 100,000 with, So I always ran it by her. And, after that, it was, talking to my guy, Jeff. Me and him, we're fearless. You know what I'm saying? We think like we the people to bring a good idea to the world, and we can't wait on, like, the people who's supposed to bring us all the good stuff. We can't wait on them. It's up to us. We on a mission from God, so to speak. So, so me and him, we power argue. He's a big basketball fan. He had an idea of doing, a 3-on-3 tournament with the pros, but not a whole league. It was in the back of both brains. So we started to, just see what it would work with, see what it would look like, see what a business model would feel like, see if it could work. see if we can get, some of the greatest minds and greatest players in basketball to be a part of it. Because if you can't get Iceman and Dr. J and Rick Barry and Gary Payton, Rick Mahorn, if you can't get them dudes to buy into it, maybe we shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But when you get some of the greatest basketball players, the basketball gods, so to speak, to endorse what you're doing, then you feel like you're fighting a good fight and you want to continue and you want to win, for them. Because let's face it, they never got what they were supposed to get, from the NBA. Even though they got great careers, they got a lot of good highlights. They get invited to a lot of cool shit, but at the end of the day, how much of that money do they really see?
Yeah.
So we want to try to create a league where, hopefully, if we ever, God willing, get as big as the NBA, that these dudes will get a check every week. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the Big 3. So
Absolutely.
That's how we want it. And hopefully we'll get there one day.
So, before he passed away, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, you always talked about that was my guy. That was the guy who I was going after in relation to the Big 3. So who is that next guy now? He's, Dwayne Wade's retired now. There's, guys like Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
Who's that next guy that, I'm sure there's a number of guys you would love to see in the league, but it's got to be one guy you say, man, he's now my guy. I want to see him in the Big 3.
Dwayne Wade, he looked like he's having too much fun though, with the retired life. But he's, to me, the biggest guy out there that, still I feel like want to play. Or maybe not, maybe I'm reading it wrong. But, it's Jamal Crawford. He would be a big, to me, a big part of the league.
What about Paul Pierce?
Paul don't want to play.
He don't want to play, huh?
I don't think Paul want to play. Not in the league. I think he wants to. He might consider playing in this show we got that we doing. We calling it it's my house. But he might want to do that. But I don't know if he want to. I don't know if he want to go. He making a lot of money. He got a nice fluffy job, put on suits every day. I don't know if he want to get in the funk again. There's a lot of funk in the Big 3. You got to be ready for that funk.
And do you still see this reality basketball show before the Big 3 season, or would we get, would it come after? How do you see that playing out?
Well, it depends. We're waiting to hear back from, the network that we believe that's, ready to buy the show. So, everybody has their own issues to deal with, so we want to move fast. We would love to have that show on in June. But the reality is we got to go with the schedule that's available. TV, you can't always just plug in. You have to kind of schedule it. So you have to find the right openings. So you never know what they're planning or what they, the issues that they're dealing with. So we just kind of in a holding pattern. Hopefully next week we'll be able to make a big announcement and let everybody know what's going on with the Big 3, with the show, with the season, and be able to be definite on a few things.
Before we move to your other things that you're doing in your career, you got to be proud of what the Big 3 has become, because you look at some of the uniforms in the NBA, they look like some of the uniforms from the Big 3. You go to the All-Star game, all of a sudden they adopt what the Big 3 has always done. No time clock at the end. First team scores so many points, they win. It's so funny how when the league first started, maybe the NBA and other may look down on it. Now all of a sudden they're adopting some of the things that you guys are doing. Now you're calling it Fireball 3, or hey, look, you challenge calls, and instead of challenge them, you can go one-on-one. instead of that's a great way. I know a lot of people are excited about some of the things that the Big Three has done.
Yeah, we wanted to enhance the basketball experience. We want to take everything that was great about the NBA basketball experience and apply it to the Big Three and enhance it. Some of the things that we missed, let people be themselves and have a personality. And a little trash talking never hurt anybody. But also, being able to make innovations to the game and make it just a more pleasing aesthetic. We do have a background in entertainment, so we kind of know what moves the people. We make sure our games are fly. It's kind of like a sexy place to be. A lot of entertainers come, a lot of NBA players, a lot of NBA coaches and affiliates around the game. We make it affordable. We make it a family atmosphere. The game is very serious, but the atmosphere is very loose. Our guys might come sit in the stands. It's just one of those things where we're taking the best things and we're making a connection. And it's cool that the NBA is smart for them to make these, to kind of pluck these little things because, hey, we take it as flattery because we've plucked so many things from them. So it's only right that they get a few things from us. So it's cool, we just want to be a part of that magic that gives people more basketball, more sports, extend careers if we can, and just, let guys in, hopefully in a way they want to end their career and not just be, kind of kicked out. So we're doing everything. Now with the Fireball, we want to make sure we can do things that's not, sacrilegious to the game. We don't want to mess with basketball. Basketball is fine. We want to create a new sport, a new field that takes all the great things about basketball, but also can innovate, can do things like, the bring the fire rule that you're talking about, where, each half a coach can challenge a foul and say, hey, that wasn't no damn foul. Let them go one-on-one for the points or not the points or whatever. I don't want him to go to the free throw line. So we want to do those things without people picketing outside saying, that's not basketball. You can't do that. Let them do what they do. We do what we do. We can coexist like boxing and UFC. They coexist, still basically combat, but with different rules and different acceptance of what's a champion and what's a pro. So, it's cool to be in this position. We still got a long way to go, but with help from people like you, you always come with that enthusiastic, call of our sport. You call it like it's been around for 50 years.
Looking for the champion, Joe, for the win, got it! He's no ordinary Joe. The triplets have won the Big 3 championship. Joe Johnson with 28 points. He's been the best player all season long. Lisa Leslie's been the best coach. The triplets are the best team in the league. Your 2019 Big 3 champions.
You respect the blood, sweat, and tears that our sport gives. You respect the competition. You one of the best things to happen to the Big 3, without a doubt, because people see you get that same respect to boxing, any other sport that you happen to find yourself doing. You do it to the highest level, and you come in the Big 3 with that same, spirit, and we appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate that too, man. I do, because I love doing it. I think it's a great idea what you've done, and you can see how much it has grown and why so many people love it in just the short time that it's been here. So now all of a sudden, you also are big movie star, and I heard that you were just finishing up basically a project, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a boxing kind of project. Tell me about the latest movie that's going to be starring Ice Cube.
Well, we didn't finish it. We just got started. We was filming for about a week, but it's the Clarissa Shields story. And she, if you've been following her, she's a champ right now in boxing. She's been going back and forth with Layla Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great story about her, coming up, her, really rising out of Flint, Michigan. And everybody knows Flint, Michigan is a tough place to, get your footing on you. So for her to become a gold medalist, at 17 years old, and then become a champion, or actually win the gold medal twice.
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 Only American male or female to do that in boxing.
Yes, sir. Man, help me, man. You see I'm struggling. But she's just a tremendous American athlete, and I play her trainer, Jason Clutchfield, and he's a guy who, boxed when he was young. He's out of Flint, Michigan. He did his thing right there at Bernstein Gym right there in Flint, Michigan. And his career was cut short because he had to take care of his ailing grandmother and father. And so he became a trainer, and he does it, help the kids out. But he still, is an electrician for the city. He's still going and working hard, hard 12-hour day, 10-hour day. But he come to the gym and train, and he trained a champion, world champion, gold medalist, world champion. And, it's a great story, and I'm happy to be able to, tell that story. It's my first time playing a real person, so it's kind of cool to be able to get it in.
That's great. We're going to look forward to that here in the near future. So 25 years ago, Friday, dropped in theaters. When y'all finished that movie, did you know you had something really big?
Well, not really. We didn't know we had something really big. We knew we had something really funny. We knew we had something that the hood was going to love. I always said, when I first did the movie, like, cool people going to get this movie. Everybody else might not even get it. And then I just never realized there was so many cool people in the world that wanted to get it, that it has experienced their version of Friday in their lifetime.
Right.
They got crazy cousins and friends, and their neighborhood is a little off tilt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I knew that we was making something that was very relatable. And, at the end of the day, people can all relate to Friday because it's the day the bully gets beat. Everybody loves the day the bully gets his ass kicked. So it's kind of cool, to create a movie around that day. But with all this other, these like crazy distractions, that's kind of, it's just the perfect way to pay homage to the neighborhood that I grew up in. Now, we did that movie because everybody had thought we did, we grew up in this hellhole. Everybody, like in the 80s, 90s, South Central LA, Compton, Watts, all you heard about was gangbanging. All you heard about was that element. The movies that was done, from Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. It was a movie called South Central. I mean, every chance they got, Colors, it was like every chance they got, it was like, this is the worst place in the world to live. But we was like, damn, was it? Like, why we didn't see it kind of that way.
Right.
Why did we have so much fun? So we started to kind of, me and DJ Pooh, when I say we, DJ Pooh, who helped me write it, who was also one of my producers. You know, why are we having so much fun living here? So we started to see that, we was making comedy out of a bad situation. We just wanted to turn things around and laugh at things that you would normally cry about, because sometimes we do that to keep from crying. We laugh.
Yeah.
So it was that whole spin with that movie. That's the magic in that movie. And you know, the parts where me and John Witherspoon, and it's kind of like, you know, we used to fight with these, and you live to see another day, and all those little things make that movie a classic.
But does it trip you out? Here we are 25 years later, and you got suburban housewives saying, bye, Felicia. You got little suburban kids going, how you get fired on your day off? I mean, 25 years later.
To me, that's what's amazing. You know, to me, it's never about what a movie make, how much money a movie make. It's all about how many times a person can watch it and enjoy it. And how many times can they like get a feeling from this movie. And by hearing those quotes year after year from all different walks of life, you know, lets me know that, you know, we did our job. You know, F. Gary Gray, Chris Tucker, like I said, DJ Pooh, John Witherspoon, you know, Neil Long, Regina King, like everybody, Tiny Lister. We just did our job, and people love not only the first one. The first one is the classic,
right?
But people love the second one and the third one. But I guess we'll come up on their 25th year anniversary in a few years.
Now, I know we've talked about this in the past. You've talked about doing a final Friday, like a Friday finale. And there have been some talk about Chris Tucker trying to get him to actually get in it. I was reading where it said that, you know, Chris Tucker still may be a little upset because of the money he made from the first one, and he never really recouped, and how big the movie's gotten, that he like, you know what? Nah, man, I didn't get paid what I should have gotten paid from the first one. I ain't doing no more. Do you think he's finally past that where he would actually do a Friday finale?
That movie was made for $2.5 million.
Wow.
Right? Nobody got paid. Everybody got scaled that was acting in the movie, including me, acting in the movie, okay? We wrote the movie, produced the movie, so of course we got more of the movie. But at the time, Chris is an actor. So, you know, I didn't get rich from the first time I did Boys in the Hood. You know what I mean? I got a little overscale doing Boys in the Hood, but it was made for $6 million. A little more money. So it was just where we all were at the time. And we was willing to pay him on part 2, 3. You know, we knew he was a $10 million, $20 million actor at the time. So that money was available, and that's how it worked. Sometimes you do the first one, and when it's time to do the second one, that's when you really get paid. And everybody know that's how the movie game go. So I don't know if that was it. You know what I mean? That could be, you know, a reason to hold on to, but I just think it's something else. It's not that.
Let's talk about, you know, the reason why you're so famous, because it all goes really back to music. And I mean, you're one of the dopest MCs ever, a group that was legendary, still doing music today. Everything Corrupt came out about 1.5 years ago. What do you think about today's hip hop?
I love it. You know, hip hop it's like water. You know, sometimes it flows in the path of least resistance, and you got to flow with it. That's why they call it a flow. You know, look, there's always been good hip hop. there's always been okay hip hop, and there's always been hip hop that sucked in every era. So it's no different today. It was no different in the 90s, 80s, 70s. People made good records, people made bad records, man. That's just the music business. So I'm down with whatever's popping, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna stick with my style. You know, I think the mistake is chasing, what they doing. What I need to do is what I'm doing because people love me for what I do.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear my flavor, or you just want to be in that mode, in the Ice Cube mode, you pick up my record, it sound like me. It sound like one of my records. So I'm proud of that, and I don't chase sounds or charts. I just do what I do. Just chase inspiration.
Whose music do you have on repeat? Like when you're going to work out, you doing something, you're like, oh yeah, let me turn this on, man. Is there somebody that you listen to? Like, yeah, I like that. That's my cat there.
I'm all over the place. Sometimes I'm on some old, you know what I mean? Like Isley Brothers, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm on something new, you know what I mean? Like I might bump some Lil Wayne, I might get real new and bump, Lizzo, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just never know it's whatever I'm feeling at the time. I'll go through my playlist, wherever that button say, damn, I want to hit that. I found myself listening to It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. You know what I mean? So I'm all over the place, man, and I love it because I ain't got to carry around all these damn CDs no more. You know what I mean? So, I used to be the CD man. I would have big old, whole 250 CD cases. And I'm walking around trying to, make sure I can have the music for my mood. But, now it's kind of cool. You can just hit it.
Well, here's a crazy thing, because my boys were very excited that we were going to do this, and so I had thrown them one of your CDs, and I have in my office this box of stuff, and my 14-year-old said, "Dad, what's this, man?" And I picked it up and looked at it. I said, "It's a cassette." And he looked at me like, "What do you do with this?" I said, "It's an album, bro." And he was like, "So what do you do with it?" I was like, my gosh. That's when we get old, man.
Hey, it is what it is. They hope to catch up to us one day.
Yeah.
And what's cool is like, man, keep your cassette players, because at least it's a hard copy.
Yeah.
They zap this damn phone and you lose your whole damn library. You know what I mean? You never know. You
You're
drop
right.
it in the toilet and it's over.
It's
No,
over.
no, you can get it out the cloud. But I'm just saying, digital world is false reality. So keep your hard copies, man.
How did you come up with the name and name yourself Ice Cube? How did that come about? And who is solely responsible for coming up with N.W.A, Niggas with Attitude?
Well, my brother gave me the name Ice Cube. When I was younger, I was always trying to be grown, because all my brothers and sisters they're 8 years, 9 years, 10 years older than me. So I would always try to be grown. And when his female friends would call, he would never be there. So I would pick up the phone. So I'm trying to knock him down. You know what I mean? And I like your little brother. Who's your little brother? All this so he got tired of that. So there's a refrigerator down the street that was empty. It's been there for a week. And I had tripped out because it's keep it on the curb for the junk man to come get it. But I had heard that, kids could like lock yourself in there and, you could die. So he was like, man, I'm gonna take you down there in that refrigerator that you worried about so much. I'll put you in there. And when they pull you out of there, you're gonna be Ice Cube. So that's what he said. So I'm like, okay. So I'm clowning with him for that. And then I go outside. When I go outside, I'm like, don't call me O'Shea no more, man. It's Cube, Ice Cube. That's me. That's me. Like Rice, I'm cool like that. So it just snowballed. It just snowballed.
And so how did we get to N.W.A? Who was the guy? Who was the genius that came up with N.W.A?
It's between Dre and Easy. See, because it was Dre, Easy, and Ren. They came and picked me up. I used to be at home just waiting for them to come pick me up. They would always have. I lived in South Central. They would always have to come from Compton to get me. So I'm waiting. They grabbed me, they scooped me, and they said, we got the name of the group. And I'm like, what? So I'm thinking, I'm waiting for a dynamic name. They don't tell me the name. They just say N.W.A. Like, what the hell does that mean? N.W.A. He said niggas with attitudes. And I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's it. That's it, because we are. We mad about it. You know what I mean? So
right.
it was a situation where we knew they're gonna hear us, man. They gonna hear us. I don't care. They might want to ignore what we gotta say, but they're about to hear this shit. Yeah.
So check this out. N.W.A was so socially forward back then, revolutionary, especially with some of the stuff y'all were saying and talking about. And you fast forward to today, there is so much pressure on being politically correct in what you say and how you do it. You've got the Me Too movement. Could N.W.A be just as impactful today as they were back then?
I don't know. You just never know. Without that happening, would we actually be in this position? Would we be here? As far as the evolution of what's acceptable. You know what I'm saying in society. I mean, now, like back in the day, a movie about weed was something that was played in about 7 theaters in the city. You had to go find it. Cheech and Chong movie. Now they got white ladies on HBO selling weed out their house. So what's acceptable now is just way different. So I don't know if N.W.A would make that same impact. But what I do know is truth hurts some people. Truth do hurt. So long as you bring in the real, it's gonna hit somebody. And when I say truth hurts, it's not just trying to hurt people, but it's just the reality of the truth that's being told sometimes is painful. So I think, if that's the mission, then we could definitely get a rise out of people.
Yeah. How did N.W.A and you, how did you guys escape that East Coast, West Coast beef? How come you guys never, as big as you guys were, how come you guys didn't get dragged into that and didn't have the beef with the East Coast?
Well, I think in a way we did, because I think it was the start of our movement that was the undertone of what happened with Biggie and Tupac and all that. At one point, we were kind of like, oh, what they're doing out there is cool on the West. They got Ice-T. And, now they got N.W.A and Eazy-E. That's cool. But okay, now we got Too Short, we got DJ Quick. We start like here. Okay, the focus was being taken from the Mecca, New York, and it was being placed in other places, right? So he never had to share the spotlight. So a rapper by the name of Tim Dog, which we squashed this, so please don't start YouTubing all this shit. Tim Dog and oh man, Tim Dog, what you got to say? No, don't go on. But he did a song called "Fuck Compton," right? And we was like, whoa, what's up with this? You know what I'm saying? So that was a spark, even though, Easy met with Tim Dog and he worked it out. He was like, man, it's just a song. It's like, yo, we want to rep our spot. Y'all getting, y'all, whatever was his reasons. They, it was like, all right, let's leave Tim Dog alone. Mm-hmm. But it kind of started to germinate and kind of pop out here and there. And by the time it got to the East Coast, West Coast beef, so to speak, it was kind of in the air. Mm. It was like ready to pop. Yeah. Like one little thing, if it wasn't that, it would have been something else. Yeah. At another seminar or at another event. It was too much, so it was bound to happen in some way or another. And, it just was unfortunate, a big distraction away from good music.
Yep.
I mean, a few, I guess, hits was made during that time, people, going at each other. But for the most part, hip hop suffered. But what came out of that was the emergence of the South and, people just looking elsewhere for hip hop that wasn't full of, beef and static.
Yeah.
So it opened it up because it ain't where you from, man. It's where you at, straight up. And that's how it should be. We one hood. We ain't, who cares really where you grew up at, man? You don't own it. You don't own that street. You don't own that block. You know what I'm saying? It ain't where you from, man. It's where you at. It's where you at here. That's what.
In the movie, right as Eazy-E had contracted HIV and was sick, but before that, he reaches out to you. He reaches out to Dre to try to make amends. And it almost seemed as if you guys were amenable to that. Do you think if he had not contracted HIV and passed on, that you guys would have gotten back together and did one last album? Because it seemed like from the movie, that's where it was headed.
Yeah, I think so. At that time I had, buried the hatchet. I wasn't really, I had battled with all kind of different forces through the 90s, from, political forces to street forces to, so at that point, what I'm saying, I'm ready to figure this out because we started in the same place. So I think we would, it was just coming back full circle. And, Easy was the kind of dude, he'd will it in, he's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
He was going to make it happen. And, that's just how determined he was to make sure his ideas came to fruition. He was just, one of the smartest, most determined people I ever knew.
I've always been curious. When you look at those days, Suge Knight had some issues with Eazy, went over there, basically tried to threaten Eazy at one time. Even when him and Dre broke up, he tried to kind of get big on Dre. How come he never stepped to you? How come you never had any Suge Knight stories?
I mean, because we always had, I mean, an understanding, you know. I mean, we always had an understanding. You know, I've worked with Suge on, you know, some of the Death Row Project. We did Natural Born Killers, and you know, one time he wanted to do a video to that, or you know, shoot it for a live event. And you know, I flew in, and you know, it's just always been, you know, we've always been able to communicate. Put it that
Okay.
way.
Okay.
There's never been no issues with us communicate. And you know, so I mean, he know I'm doing my thing over here. He doing his thing over there.
Yeah.
And you know, it's always been, you know, straight communication, no issues on that part.
Drake seems to be right now the biggest hip hop person. Not saying he's the best MC. I'm just saying when you talk about who's the biggest, someone said who's the biggest hip hop star right now, it seems to be Drake, only because he can sing, he can rap. Would he be just as big in N.W.A. in y'all's heyday?
Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, any guy who can produce and perform, you know, to me, got a great shot in any era. You know, if you can produce your own music and actually perform it and, you know, create hits, you know, I believe that will work in any era. You know, it has. You know, just think of all the ones that can do it. You know, they've, you know, to me had, you know, no issues with making hits, you know, any era.
Serious question here, because whether it was music, your solo career, whether it was N.W.A. when people said you guys couldn't be successful because of the stuff you were saying, whether it was you starting Big3 and people looked at it and maybe said, man, are you crazy doing that? Whether it was the movies, you've always, it seems like, had the odds stacked against you and yet succeeded in a huge way. Now we've gone through this pandemic. There are a lot of people struggling. There are a lot of people trying to make a way out of no way. Can you give us the blueprint? Give us some advice on for someone to say, if they said, Ice Cube, how can I make it? Although it seems like the odds are stacked against me.
I think now's the time to lean on family. Now's the time to, you know, make any amends to you know, your, you know, relatives, loved ones. And we got to work together. Everybody in the family got to work together, you know, like it used to be. Everybody's an individual now. Everybody has more interest in their pocket and on their phone than they do in their household. And so we got to reverse that, you know, and we got to communicate. It's enough resources, you know, in most families to go around. You know, people got to hunker down, change the way they do things, you know. And if it's not enough resources, it's enough brain power to create those opportunities. And you know, it's a thinking man's sport right now. It's not wait for the government to figure it out for you. Is, you know, grabbing people you know. Who can you trade with? Who can you barter with? Who can you build with? Who can you plan with? You know what I mean? Who can you create? You know, it's an opportunity to create a business from home right now. You know, who's got that motivation in your family? There are all kind of different talents. You know, stop relying just on yourself. You got to rely on the people in your family, your loved ones, who, you know, everybody know how to do a little something. So it's really, you know, that's the time. That's what time it is. Reconnect.
Best piece of advice you've been given.
Ever?
Yeah. Best piece of advice. When you think about it, you said, man, the probably best piece of advice someone gave me was what?
Treat your kids good, because, you know, They're gonna grow up one day, and you're gonna have to depend on them. And so you should treat your kids good. You should respect your kids. Respect your kids' feelings and opinions. Not saying you should got to be Mr. Friendly. Not saying you don't have to be the adult. Not saying you shouldn't be, the so-called authority in your house. Not saying you give away all your parent privileges, but a little more respect. They're not there for your entertainment. So, doing stuff to them for your entertainment ain't cool. So, to me, it's just that's the best piece of advice I've been given.
Love that. Love that. Now, listen, we do a segment here where people send in questions through social media. Man, I'm telling you what, we got so many of them. I was like, look, we can only give him, let's give him 3. That's it, because there's so many. Michael from Instagram says, is there any artist or actor you want to work with or that you haven't worked with?
There's a lot I haven't worked with, but I would love to work with, somebody like Al Pacino, great actor. I would love to do something with, Denzel or Eddie Murphy. So, those are the ones, that I think about, like, damn, I want to make sure I can, hopefully get a picture in with one of these dudes.
That's hot. Tom from Facebook says, did you really knock Debo out?
Yeah, I knocked Debo out. Knocked him out. I had a brick. I had a little help from a brick, remember? A brick and a stick. I had a brick and a stick. You know what I mean? And I got a nice right hand. You know what I'm saying? So don't sleep. He know. I went by that nose one time. He was like, "Whoa,
yeah.
Oh, hold on, man. Hold on. I was like, okay. Felt that deep.
That's hilarious. Vince from Facebook, he asks, do you think fans remember you now more for your music or your movies?
Depends on if you from, this century or last century. It depends on, which century you grew up in. You know what I'm saying? So,
You're right.
Last century, you might know. You from this century, you might not know about my music.
Right.
Are you feeling run down? Do you need a natural way to boost your immune system? The all-natural B1 patch from USA Natural may be just what you're looking for. Professional athletes use it, and you can too. Just peel and stick, and within 30 minutes feel the natural boost of energy, stamina, and endurance. Visit buyb1.com and enter the code BC3 for a discount on every order. Wear what the pros wear. The all-natural B1 patch.
Okay, Cube. Last segment here on this podcast. We call it The Last Stand. Name of this podcast. I'm going to give you a series of questions. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. How often are you mistakenly called Ice-T than Ice Cube?
I'm called Ice-T maybe twice a month. Maybe twice a month somebody be like, hey, T.
I love it. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. I want you to think about this one. Which O'Shea Jackson is the better actor, junior or senior?
I think Junior is a better actor.
Ooh, really?
I think Junior is a better actor. Yeah, because he's always been a clown. You know what I mean? He's always been acting around here. Me, I just started acting, when I met John Singleton. But, he's just, to me, he can go there.
Hey, I had to tweet him because he played the hell out of that role in Just Mercy, Den of Thieves. I love Den of Thieves. I give him props, man. I had to tweet him on that. All right, give me one current, or it could be a current or a past rapper who was on the Ice Cube collab bucket list and it just never happened.
Oh man, a current or that it just never happened, or
Yes,
that,
yeah. Except be a rapper who's passed away.
I mean, of course, I would love to get on the track with Biggie. I mean, I've been on the track with Pac. I don't think I've been on the track with Biggie, unless it's some crazy collaborated remix. But in the studio, getting busy. I would have to say, I think Black Thought is just an incredible rapper.
Yes, he is,
just pure. So, that's something that I would think that would be a dope collaboration, me and Black Thought.
Okay. Who are on the Ice Cube's Mount Rushmore of rappers?
Oh wow, man. I mean, Chuck D, for sure. Rakim. Wow. Damn. Man, Mount Rushmore only got 4 people.
Got 4 people.
Lord have mercy, man. Come on now.
It's the last stand. You got to take a stand.
My Mount Rushmore got at least 10 heads on it. But, I put, my man, I'll put Melly Mel up there. And damn. And then it's like, I got Ice-T and KRS-One, like this and that.
Nice.
Because these are game changer rappers. They changed the game with what they did. So that's my Mount Rushmore.
All right.
With an extra head on it.
I love it. Because look, you've been great with your time, man. I'm going to wrap it up with this. Since you're one of the, in my opinion, the dopest MCs that ever spit. All right, you got to give us a quick freestyle and mention Last Stand Podcast.
Brian, I'm not about to freestyle, man. You say that for the kids.
Man, come on, man. This
say
is
that
Ice
for the
Cube,
kids,
man. This is Ice
I
Cube.
I understand that, man. I understand that. Say that one for the youngsters. It's like the dunk contest, man. It's like after a certain time, you don't get into that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I gotta save mine for the fourth quarter, baby.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? Call me when you in the playoffs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'll come off the couch and win a championship.
He is the one and only Ice Cube. He does it all. Man, I appreciate you, my brother. I certainly appreciate you, man, taking the time and hanging with us.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Take it easy.
Absolutely. That's Ice Cube. And as we talk about, we give you only the biggest and the baddest here on the Last Stand Podcast. We'll see you next week.